بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين.
كلمة التوحيد أعلينا بها لواء كلمة التوحيد أنشأنا بها رجالا كلمة التوحيد أعلينا بها لواء
لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. نسألك علما نافعا وعفوا واسعا وعافية من كل بلاء ونعوذ بك من الشر كله. ثم أما بعد، يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين.
If all this, what we do of Islam, if all these mosques are about, if all these literatures, if all these tapes, booklets, sheikhs, universities, madrasas, if all these millions and billions of Muslims, and we still do not have even one single Islamic state which can open its arms for anybody to immigrate, then you know the mistake or the wrong which we're doing is directly at the basics of the belief, at the foundation of the belief, which is La ilaha illallah. Alhamdulillah, every Muslim loves this word, La ilaha illallah. Every jama'ah talks about La ilaha illallah. Every jama'ah makes La ilaha illallah the fundamental of its obligations and their da'wah. The best thing, the first thing is La ilaha illallah. But do we really understand what does La ilaha illallah means and what does La ilaha illallah implies? La ilaha illallah is the first word of Islam. But we have to understand that the first word of Islam is La. La means no. No means rejection. No means revolution. No means challenge. No means enmity. And the second word is after La is La ilaha. La ilaha means kufr. La ilaha. Kufr. So before you believe in Allah, you must do kufr of every God. Before you mention any God, you must mention it in refusal manner. No God. And then, after you reject all these false gods, you say, but Allah. Then Allah enters in a clean heart, in a clean manner, in a dignified way, not in humiliation. No! This is why every religion hates Muslims. The cow worshippers, they say, we worship the cow. The Christians, they say, we worship Jesus. The Jews, they say, we worship God. But nobody starts his religion by insulting every other religion except Islam. Islam, Tawheed, it's a militant religion. A young child walking, he doesn't know how much heavy word he's carrying. A young child, tell him, say the word of Islam. He said, La ilaha illallah. What does it mean? No God but Allah. Without you realize, the Kafirs want to kill your child. The Kafirs do understand that before you believe in your God, you have put all their gods in the dustbin. In the dustbin. No God. The Kafirs in the time of Quraysh, of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they understood this. And when it was said, La ilaha illallah, they go crazy just by saying La ilaha illallah. The Kafirs of our time, they are no less than that. But we are not like the Sahaba to deliver the message of La ilaha illallah and to understand the message of La ilaha illallah. Many of us are still fools. They think they can go say La ilaha illallah and smiles at Christians and Jews and say, we say La ilaha illallah. They said, yeah, we know. This is why we're going to kill you. Because you're not saying Allah. You are saying La ilaha illallah. You're not saying God like what we say God. You are saying no God, but you're God. Then you come to a situation whether to convince him that you don't really believe in it that hard, and you tell him that when I say La ilaha illallah, I just mean that I worship Allah. I don't really mean anything wrong. And then you go out of the religion. You go out of Islam. Because Allah doesn't accept that La ilaha illallah from you. Because it does not mean La ilaha illallah. It means Allah. And this is not the word of Islam, Allah. The word of Islam is what? La ilaha illallah. If you are not man enough to say La ilaha, then Allah doesn't want you to say Allah. He doesn't want you to say Allah. وَمَا يُؤْمِنْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ بِاللَّهِ إِلَّا وَهُمْ مُشْرِكُونَ. That most of them, they only believe in Allah while committing shirk. They believe in Allah and other than Allah. If not by say, but by action. If not by say and action, but inside their hearts. Even Muslims until now, many of them, they believe in jinn. Many of them, they believe that jinn can do something which is superstitious. Something which is out of the hand of Allah. Many of them, they believe that kafirs, they have authority and they should fear kafirs as much as they fear Allah. But no. In every trend you will go in Islam, you will find Allah is putting you in trouble with kafirs. Everywhere you're going to face in Islam, you will see that Allah put you in trouble with kafirs. And I bet you that you have put your transmission off so people will not hear. Because we're going to talk about just La ilaha illallah. It's dangerous. La ilaha illallah is more dangerous to kafirs than atomic bombs. Very dangerous. When you bring children to carry La ilaha illallah, you put them in the front line. Without you realize. You make them wear Western clothes. Learn national curriculum. Speak with the accent of the kafirs. But when it comes to the crunch, they even take their trousers down and they see them. If they are circumcised, they kill them. Because that means they say La ilaha illallah. And Bosnia is not far from you. People know nothing about Islam except La ilaha illallah. Kosovo is the same. Albania is the same. Everywhere else is the same. People whom you class as not a good Muslims and maybe not Muslims altogether. But still they say that hated word by kafirs. They say to them, no. Any tyrant doesn't like no. He doesn't mind you if you say, I believe in Allah. But he minds you very much to say, to put his God in the dustbin. This is why was the war with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the believers. That they said, okay, worship our God 1 year and we will worship your God 1 year. They said, no, la ilaha illallah, la a'budu ma ta'budun. La a'budu ma ta'budun. This message is consistency. This message everywhere in the Quran and everywhere in the Sunnah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا إكراه في الدين قد تبين الرشد من الغي. You don't force people about the religion. It is very clear. Guidance and misguidance are both very clear now. فمن يكفر بالطاغوت, whoever disbelieves in طاغوت, طاغوت is anything worshipped or obeyed against Allah. Whoever يكفر بالطاغوت, disbelieve in طاغوت, وَيُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ. Again, this means La ilaha illallah. Whoever yakfur bit-taghut, whoever said La ilaha, whoever act La ilaha, whoever fights for la ilaha wa yu'min billah and believes in Allah, illallah. Same meaning, but in a longer sentence, but in more explanation. That is in the Quran. When it comes to the Sunnah, the meaning still preserved. Every day, but you don't realize. When you wake up in the morning after you open your eyes and you go to pray Fajr, you pray Sunnah of Fajr. Yes? In the 6 books of Hadith, what is the Sunnah in the recitation of the 2 rak'ahs of Fajr? What is the first surah you read after Al-Fatiha in the first rak'ah? قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. Say, oh you kafir, I don't worship what you worship. This is la ilaha, no God. لا أعبد ما تعبدون. You humiliate them. First thing when you open your eyes, first thing you say in the morning, you reject the religion of kafirs. You do bara'ah. You declare your enmity. I bear witness I am your enemy. Like Ibrahim have said, all your gods and yourselves are my enemy. This enmity to kufr and kafirs is compulsory. You escape it. You will escape the word of Tawheed. You escape the word of Tawheed. You will be believing in Allah and other than Allah. You will be fearing Allah and other than Allah. You can't escape it. Those who want to escape it are fools, are sacrificed the real Tawheed, and they're going to be punished, and their Tawheed could be thrown at their faces. You've left my enemies. You don't want to be their enemies. You have avoided them in humiliation. You have feared them more than me. The first thing you say, and after you declare your enmity, and after you say la ilaha illallah, after you say la ilaha, the first rak'ah, what do you say the second rak'ah? قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. It means illallah. So again you say the word of Tawheed, la ilaha illallah, in 2 rak'ahs. The first rak'ah you say la ilaha, the second rak'ah you say illallah. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. And before you sleep, the last 2 rak'ahs in witr, what do you say? What do you pray? Again, the last 2 rak'ahs. Before you sleep, declare your enmity. La ilaha, yakfur bil-taghut, illallah. The second rak'ah you say, the last rak'ah you say, قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. What does it mean? Why we always worship Allah only in the shell of worship? We don't look at the core and the meanings. Why these surahs only have been selected? The Quran is full of surahs. Why these surahs have been selected? Why this time at night? The last thing at night. So you sleep on Tawheed. Why these surahs in the first thing in the morning? So you wake up for Tawheed. And all day long you say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. But we don't really understand what does La ilaha illallah. And when you go for Hajj, after you do the tawaf, when you stand in the Maqam Ibrahim, you say 2 rak'ahs. What is the first surah you said after Al-Fatiha? قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا الْكَافِرُونَ. Again, no God. La ilaha. And then the second rak'ah you say قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. These surahs are together. It means La ilaha illallah. Allah does not accept to say, I love you, God. Without you say, I hate and fight your enemies, God. Not saying this, it is not accepted. What you do not accept for yourself, from your friends who loves you, from your children, from your wife, that you don't accept their love before they declare their enmity to your enemies. Would you accept that for God? That you declare His love without declaring the enmities for His enemies? In all stages. Enmity by tongue, enmity by hand, enmity by heart, enmity by the sword. for a Muslim who understands what he recites, for a Muslim who knows the verses, for a Muslim who wants to get rewarded, you say La ilaha illallah, and the scholars say La ilaha illallah, and a prophet say La ilaha illallah, and a prophet messenger say La ilaha illallah. Everyone gets rewarded differently, according to his knowledge, according to his practice, according to his situation, according to his environment, according to his effort. And we look the same, exactly like the prayer. We all pray, but some people, they take 10 out of 10 in their prayer, others they take 1 out of 10. Others, their prayer are thrown at their faces. Again, with La ilaha illallah is the same thing. But we are all veiled by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we all say the kalima. But the reward of the kalima, you will know it when you see Allah. So don't think you are in dunya hidden amongst the flock of people. In Yawm al-Qiyamah you will be spotted like a laser guided thing. You will be taken out. In short, my dear brothers, La ilaha illallah, it's a heavy say. This is why we see people do say La ilaha illallah and contradict La ilaha illallah without feeling anything. One of the Sahaba said to the Tabi'een, which is the people after the Sahaba, I can see one of you say the word, which we class it in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Only hypocrites can say this kind of words. And I hear it from you 3, 4 times in the same majlis. He's saying this to the Tabi'een. And if he comes to our majlis, if he comes to our talk, what would he say? We are saying the words of the munafiqeen, and we are doing the action of the munafiqeen. Well, I'm trying to tell you that when you say La ilaha illallah, and if you don't carry it the way the Sahaba carried it, it collapses over your head. And it results that you're going to have your enemies all over around you. They will be plotting against you, and you will be the last to know what we do. Allah gave us a heavy word to say. Allah gave us a word, when we say it, everybody wants to kill us, even if we smile them. This is why we don't understand, or we tend to forget when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا يَزَالُونَ يُقَاتِلُونَكُمْ حَتَّى يَرُدُّونَكُمْ عَنْ دِينِكُمْ إِنِ اسْتَطَاعُوا. So it means they will ask you and they will fight you to leave your religion if they can. It means the only way that they're going to leave you to have your religion, it means when they are not capable physically. But now they are capable physically. But now many people are leaving the religion as well. Because these people, kafir, are capable physically. And don't think because you come to the mosque you did not leave your religion. You never know. Here we are living amongst kafirs. And the first thing comes across us that Rasulullah said, I have nothing to do with those who live amongst kafirs. If Allah wants to punish them, you will be the first to be punished. If Allah wants to collapse the market, your money will be affected. Any misfortune, the pound goes down, your wealth goes down. If somebody cursed them to destroy their land from Pakistan or from Egypt or from Palestine, you get worried about your position and your houses and your mortgages and all that. You became a shield for kufr. That anything happened to them, you are before them. This is us here. As for our countries, they are not much happier. Everyone wants to run from our countries to come to the heaven, which is Europe, America, the heaven of Dajjal. The heaven of Dajjal. This is the heaven. Yes, it's heaven. But it's the heaven of Dajjal. Anybody comes into it, throws him to the fire. We came here. Riba has gone into our noses and our ears and our eyes. We cannot hide from it anywhere. A bit of green around us. زينة الحياة الدنيا. But then after that, it's khabith. You see their cows very fat, very big, very large, but it's contaminated. They cannot even kill it and leave it. They have to burn it in a very high degree. You see their women, nice looking, but they're khabith. You cannot even touch them. You touch them, you get AIDS. You look at them, you feel filth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you go to our countries, you see the cow is very weak and produce very little milk, but it's good, clean milk. Gives you vitamin, doesn't give you virus. You see our women are not all that beautiful, but they last for you. They nurse you. They look after you until you die. They are faithful to you. قل لا يستوي الخبيث والطيب ولو أعجبك كثرة الخبيث. Khabith, even it's too many, it's still khabith. And tayyib, the good thing, even if it's too little, still tayyib, still clean. And we run after the khabith and we leave the tayyib. We run after the dirt, after the filth. And because of that, we got sick. And the sickness have been described by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is called al-wahan. Because of that, we compromised in our religion. We compromised in tawheed. We don't look for kafirs for what they are. Kafirs, enemies of Allah. Fighting Allah, fighting the law of Allah, fighting the purity and the cleaning, imposing obscenity to children. Pedophiles, they go after their own children. They put their children in the washing machines. They close hospitals. They open brothels. Proliferate crime. Allahu Akbar. And we follow them. Everything they do. They have a media, we have media. They make songs, we make songs. They have this, and we follow them all the time. Allahu Akbar. This is why we are sick. Our ummah now is mentally sick. It has sickness in its heart, sickness in its head, and sickness in its action. And the most sickness of all, that our ummah wants to live forever. Everyone is planning to live forever. Nobody is thinking about this. A 75 years old man is thinking about his next mortgage. And he's thinking about his business. And he's thinking about planning. And he's thinking and he's thinking and he's thinking. And death comes like that. Phew, and he cuts all his hopes. This is what Rasulullah have said. So we are sick. And the sign of that sickness is al-wahan. Al-wahan. What is al-wahan? Hubb al-dunya. Al-wahan is the love for dunya. وَكَرَاهِيَةِ الْمَوْتِ. And the hate for death. In the other hadith he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the love of dunya and the hate of fight. وَكَرَاهِيَةِ الْقِتَالِ. The both hadiths are correct. This time he said that al-qital instead of death. Because death could be understood as a result of fighting. Allahu Akbar. That sickness implies that we are all taken as booty. Ourselves, our money, our belongings, our land. And if you don't believe me, ask yourself why you're doing here. Our lands were the lands of the honey and butter and money. And now we come in after their milk tokens. We come in, please give us a job. I'm going to be a good boy. I will never have a criminal record. I will learn any curriculum you give me. I'll swear any oath. I'll make any pledge. Just let me be a doctor at your hospital. Let me be an engineer at your establishment. Let me be a scholar at your academy. That's all. cheap things. Cheap things. Nobody asked to be Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi or Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, or Imam Ahmad. Nobody is asking to be a follower of the Sahaba. People are ashamed. They only wear Islamic clothes when they come to the mosque. If they're being caught praying under the stairs in their work, they wouldn't know how many rak'ahs they have prayed. This is how we are now. The result of that is exactly what we haven't. Nothing special. When Rasulullah said, تَدَاعَى عَلَيْكُمُ الْأُمَمِ, nations will call each other to share you as a booty. We'll call each other, here, come on, we got some fools. Let's have what they got. كَمَا تَدَاعَى الْأَكَلَةُ عَلَى قَصْعَتِهَا, as the very big tummy eaters concentrate to eat their food. You know the eaters? When they sit to eat, they eat. They fill their stomach. They know where to catch. They call each other as well. Come and eat. Look what we got. Have your share and go. And we are orphans. We're looking at them eating from our own countries. Oil contracts goes to them. Long queues. You go for Hajj, long queues. You're waiting for your visa to go to Hajj, long queues. You stand there. And one whore comes with a mini jeep. She jumped the queue. And the monkey who's giving you the visa, he jumped for it. And let the queue stay. And if you open your mouth, there's no Hajj for you this year. Similar thing when you go there. If you're a militant Muslims, when you go, they type your name in the computer, and the computer starts shouting and farting and going everywhere, and red lights comes and everything, and everybody puts in hazards and fire alarm, and the fire brigade comes, just because you have given a khutbah somewhere, or you said it's not right for a king to wear a cross and rules the peninsula of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's it. Then they ask Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this will happen to us? Are we going to be few at this time? Then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, no, you will not be few. At this time you will be plenty. The Sahaba, they think that could only happen because they are few. Because Allah said to them that many places you are being humiliated and few, and still Allah gave you victory. So the Sahaba, because they are men, not males. The Sahaba, because they are men, not just males for breeding. They think if we have men, that's it, we've got everything, doesn't matter. But when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to them, but this time you will be plenty. They were surprised, they couldn't understand. What do you mean plenty? Plenty, and this happened to us? It doesn't happen to us now. Would it happen to us when we are plenty? Yes. And it happened to us when we are plenty. He said, you are plenty. At this time, when you be taken as a booty, you will be plenty, plenty of numbers. بل أنتم يومئذ كثير ولكنكم غثاء كغثاء السيل. You know what is غثاء السيل? It is not like many people say the scum of the sea. The scum of the sea is pure. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he did not say zabadul bahr. The scum of the sea is called zabadul bahr. He didn't say you are غثاء like zabadul bahr. He did say غثاء كغثاء السيل. It is whatever floats from the rainwater. You know what the rainwater, when it comes, the water rain, what will be floating? Is hair, the vomiting, the dirt, the straws, this thing, the spitting. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in polite way described us. And this is what we are, floating. Any currents take us left or right. We don't have a motion of our own. We don't have a direction of our own. Some fashion. Even when we do jihad. If the place which we're going to do jihad is not announced by the media, by BBC, and we don't see the BBC promoting that jihad, we will not go for that jihad. If somebody tell you there's jihad in Eritrea, but you say, we didn't see any news about it. and somebody said there is jihad in Bosnia, you go for Bosnia. Why? Because the media have covered Bosnia, but the media did not cover Eritrea. Even when you want to do jihad, you still have to, a motion not of your own, a battlefield which you have not designed. You've been sucked in. Now there is no news about Kosovo. But when there is news about Bosnia, everybody went to Bosnia. Now there is a lot of massacre in Kosovo, but there is no news. Because they don't want to repeat the mistakes in Bosnia to invite the Mujahideen. But now everybody is cool. Because he doesn't see things which it makes his conscience move. He pretends that nothing happened. Everybody knows that things are happening. But he doesn't see the blood. So everything is alright. Or at least let's hope it is that way. غثاء كغثاء السيل. No motion of your own. You're just above. With arrogancy. Because we are above, because we are praying, then we are right. But what currents happen underneath us? Which direction we're going to go next? Today we are the West. Where we're going to go next? Where? And what is our plan for that? We don't have a plan. كغثاء السيل. The float above the rainwater. It could go left or could go right. It doesn't object much. All it knows it has to stay up and it has to be pushed anyway. Any turbulence takes it. And this is why we are submitting to the kafirs. Go here, don't do that, do this, do that. And the people who are living in our own countries are not much happier. Perhaps they are happier with regard to one thing, that their children do not see the obscenity which our children see. And they do not experience the temptations in their mind as our children are subject to. But these are disease. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, as a result of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take your respect and your fear from the hearts of your enemies. And if you are a good Muslim, your enemy becomes the enemy of Allah. So you have no respect and no fear from you. And fear half the winning. Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, نُصِرْتُ بِالرُّعْبِ مَسِيرَةَ شَهْرٍ. I have been given victory with terrorism. When people know I am coming, 1 month before I come, they are shaken to their boots. They can't make their minds. They can't see anything except death. نُصِرْتُ بِالرُّعْبِ مَسِيرَةَ شَهْرٍ. And this is one of the things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given to this ummah. A talk here going to be recorded and reported, and people get worried. What does he mean, this man? What he wants? What he's going to do? These people are listening. They are already afraid about your listening, and you have not decided to do anything. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have given to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 5 things which were never given to anybody else. One of which is the booty, that we are allowed to eat booty from war. And one of which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make every nation to be terrified and terrorized from the nation of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Just when they know you are getting ready for them, everybody gets worried. Everybody come to the drawing tables. Everybody wants to negotiate and leave the arms. Everybody is afraid. And we don't know this. We don't know that power in us. We don't know that everybody is focusing into us. They all agree. They don't tell you, yarhamkumullah. They don't tell you we fear you because you say la ilaha illallah. They don't tell you we hate you because you say la ilaha illallah. They don't tell you a plan for your next coming generations that they will never say la ilaha illallah. But they do, they plan. How many millions in Africa have changed their religion because of a handful of corn? They design poverty so they can make you, in your countries, so they can make you desperate, so you can accept another religion or at least forget about your own religion. They design that deliberately. They put every country in debts, then they can send their missionaries, then people change their religion. And you find John Abdul Wahid and George Abdullah in Africa, in Indonesia. And we are just happy to call 1 or 2 for Islam through heavy da'wah. And with the satellite, with the media, they take people out of Islam. And the only media we have, Friday prayer, Our imams do not do it properly. Our imams just want to eat with la ilaha illallah. Some, they don't want any trouble. They prefer trouble with Allah than trouble with governments. Unfortunately. The only media we have. Allah did not leave us. Allah knows that they will have media everywhere. And we will be deprived from media. And Allah gave us media. And we did not use it. And we are not willing to use it. What a shame put into us. And if somebody use it right, we call him a terrorist, troublemaker. Now they are not going to give us money for the car park for our mosque. So what if they don't give you money for the car park for the mosque? The whole earth is mosque for us. And we're going to sell the religion of Allah because of some light and some bricks. Allahu Akbar. So what is left? This is exactly what we're experiencing. We say words which we don't know what does it mean. And the kafir know what does it mean. When you say to a kafir, la ilaha illallah, say, oh, ilaha illallah. Everybody say, I worship God. And you say, before you start worshiping your God, you have to insult our gods. And you telling me you're not a terrorist, you're not a dictator. No, you Muslim, you are a dictator. We said, yes, we are dictators. If it comes that to stop you from kufr and stop you from obscenity and stop you from this, we have to be dictator. Because a good-hearted, a good believer dictator is much better than a democratic bufta or a democratic homosexual. Allahu Akbar. Yes, we don't tell you to change your religion. We tell you are wrong and we are right. We don't tell you that we're going to wrongdo you, but we tell you we're not going to allow you to be in power, because when you are in power, you cause mischief in earth. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ. This is what Islam is about. It's for you to worship Allah, to give da'wah to those who don't know about Allah or forgotten about Allah, to take the temptations from those who are not interested about Allah because of their dunya by force, until they listen to the words of Allah, until they accept the word of Allah, or at least they step aside for others to listen. And this is the message of Islam. So if you forgetting about what you put in your children your children will grow up in a society like this, saying la ilaha illallah and smiling at these snakes all over the place. They don't know what does it mean in their hearts, la ilaha illallah. So you have to educate yourselves and your children about la ilaha illallah. And the enemies of la ilaha illallah is the enemies of you and the enemies of your children. No matter how much they give you to build mosques, it's not their money. It's the crumbs of what they take as booty from our countries. They are taking you as a sample to tease people in your country. Look, if you are good boys, we give you a visa, you become like them. They probably look after you so they can humiliate millions and millions of Muslim nations. Yes, they can look after 5, 10, 20, give you houses, give you this. To the people, to the poor people of our country, you live in like a kings. You live like kings. You have all your businesses, you have your money. Once a year you go for your holiday, you buy a bit of land there, and people look at you, they're coming from Jannah. Please, let me marry your daughter. Please, let me do this. Take me with you to Jannah. Take me with you to Jannah. And instead, if you tell them this is rubbish, this is a toilet, we come in there to do our business and we come back here. What you living in is good for you. We are planning to come back here. You tell them, inshallah, I will make you marry my daughter, but inshallah, you have to pay me 25,000 pounds or work 75 years for me. You don't even help your brothers there. You didn't even tell them we have trouble here with our children. We wish that we have sell matches in our own country and we are not like this. Taking your children from their hands to a kafir woman, whore woman. Tell her, look after my children until 3 o'clock. How she's going to look after your child? Subjecting your daughters to listen to obscenity, to be taught by whores, to speak their same accent. And then when you choose a husband for her, she's already mentally sick.
She wants to live a love story. Telling me I'm teaching my children the right and the wrong is not enough. There is imams even know the right and the wrong, and they do some wrong, let alone people. Because it's not only knowledge who can give you control. Shaitan have more knowledge than anybody. He's still shaitan. Children, do you know the right and the wrong? But their desire will be a driving force when they become teenagers. That's it. You're going to be in a very difficult situation. Do they follow the discipline of the right and wrong? Or do they follow their desire, which is given by the society? So this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put these problems into us. Because we are not defending His religion. Because we are not thinking enough. Because we are not sacrificing for the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything we want easy. Everything we want free. And the only thing you can have free and easy is the harmful thing. The things which you don't buy its seed and you don't look after it, it becomes a harmful thing. That is general, but this is exactly what is happening. Generally for the Muslim Ummah, and generally for the people who live in, and also specifically for those who live in this country, or similar kind of countries. What I'm trying to say to you, brothers, don't forget about jihad, because the Kafirs have not forget about their jihad. The Kafirs are doing their jihad very, very well. And they eat in their booty because of their jihad. And they've got a lot of joys because they are controlling our countries. And if jihad is not important for them, they would not invest billions of pounds to renew their weapons. If weapons for them is not important, they would not spend all these billions of pounds. If these people believe in democracy, they would not have something called the five superpower who can veto any decision. So we talk like puppets about democracy, and we think it's taking the opinion and the majority, and we don't know. Even the people who invent democracy, they don't believe in it. If they do believe in it, they wouldn't have such a thing called the five superpower and the 7G and all this. They know if you are strong, then you can apply your policy and you can apologize later. And we don't know this. They said to you, Islam is being spread by sword. And everybody said, no, it's not being spread by sword. It's a good message. And tell him, yes. And it will be also spread by sword. For as long as there is kafirs like yourselves who don't want people to listen, it has to be spread by sword. How did you spread your democracy? It's by sword. How did you teach your communists? It's by sword. How did you teach your principles? It's by sword. How did you propagate your crusaders? By sword. How did the Jews fight everywhere in their religion and killing and enjoying killing people? It's by sword. This is nature. Allah said like that. Fight them until there is no fitna and until the whole of the religion is for Allah. Why? No idea can survive without the sword. Islam or not Islam? In fact, if any idea could survive without the sword, is Islam. But yet Allah said, no, you must also protect it. Even if they don't run towards us, we run after them. We run after them. And when we run after them, then jihad becomes non-compulsory. But if they looking at us, just looking at us, then jihad becomes compulsory. It's only when they run. And then the Khalifa said, oh, let them run for a while. Let us do some jihad somewhere else. But even if they run everywhere, jihad becomes compulsory for the ummah. But it's not compulsory for every individual. Because ummah cannot stay without jihad. There is no Muslim ummah without jihad. Even if it's not compulsory for each individual, it must be always compulsory for the ummah. As if somebody comes from the door and says, Salam alaikum. If nobody answers him, then all of us are sinners. If even one person say alaikum salam, then alhamdulillah, he get the reward and we are not sinners. So the ummah of Muhammad must always do jihad, always do fighting. And when it's not compulsory, few could be enough. Fardul kifaya. And if it is compulsory, everybody. Fardul ayn. But whether it's Fardul kifaya or Fardul ayn, fighting must go on. Victorious party must be there. And Rasulullah ﷺ said, my ummah does not unify in error. لا تجتمع أمتي على ضلال. Leaving jihad is dalal. And trying to call Rasulullah ﷺ liar. نعوذ بالله من ذلك. قال صلى الله عليه وسلم لا تزال طائفة من أمتي ظاهرين على الحق. In fact, he said in Sahih Muslim صلى الله عليه وسلم من يرد الله به خيرا يفقهه في الدين. Whoever Allah wants good for him, he makes him faqih in the religion. The hadith of Muawiyah رضي الله عنه in Sahih Muslim. Look at the beginning of the hadith. Makes you interesting. Oh Allah, I want you to give me fiqh in deen. Look at the hadith how it starts. Whoever Allah wants good of him, he makes him faqih in deen. This is the first sentence of the hadith. What is after that? The second sentence. وَلَا تَزَالُ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْ أُمَّتِي يُقَاتِلُونَ عَلَى الْحَقِّ لَا يَضُرُّهُمْ مَنْ خَذَلَهُمْ. And it will always be a party from my ummah, fighting for the truth. They are not worried about who are opposing them or who are defying them. Look how he joined the fiqh of deen with fighting in the cause of Allah. Look, hadith in Sahih Muslim, in the authority of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. Where do we have this hadith? Fighting is the fiqh. فلولا نفر من كل فرقة منهم طائفة ليتفقهوا في الدين ولينذروا قومهم إذا رجعوا إليهم لعلهم يحذرون. Some imams, they said the people who go and fight, they are the people who go and get fiqh. There's a difference between a person of knowledge and a person of fiqh. This is why Rasulullah ﷺ, he said, رُبَّ حَامِلُ فِقْهِ إِلَى مَنْ هُوَ أَفْقَهْ مِنْهِ. That sometimes people who carry fiqh but they don't understand it, to those who understand more. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said, the people of the front lines, they come with us with some questions, with some things which we don't know what is this. Because they are staying idle in the city. And those who go fi sabilillah, they see the real life. They see the broad things. They see different cultures. They see different problems. So look how Allah joined. How Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam have made the link between deep understanding of Islam and fighting. Yes, a person can be very knowledgeable than a mujahid, but in some matters. But Allah wants you to be faqih in jihad. Because you can call people for Islam by talking. But when you do jihad, you're not only calling people for Islam by your sword, but also you're getting rid of the bad elements of earth. So other people will be easy to come. And protection. And you ease the situation. And this is why I wouldn't want to tell you about the reward of shaheed or the reward of a mujahid. It's enough to you that Rasulullah have said 1 hour in the battlefield is better than 70 years of worship. 70 years of worship. Who of you can worship 70 years? If you worship 70 years, that means you have to live 280 years. And who of you will live 280 years to worship 1/4 of his life? Because 1/4 of your life goes for sleep, other quarter goes for work, other quarters goes for your business, and 1/4 goes for your hobby. So suppose you're going to use all that hobby for worship. That means you live 280 years. Who will live that time? So it is not how long you live, and it's not how much you do. It is what is the quality of your action. So my dear brothers, jazakumullah khair for your patience to listen. Situation of Kosovo, as the situation in many places. We are weak. We need to be trained. We need to gain back our respect to ourselves. We need to re-announce La ilaha illallah the way Allah likes it, not the way. Give us peace treaty with kafirs and keep us safe. We want to announce it the way it keeps that religion safe, even though it's not, it's against our safety. First, the safety of Islam, the safety of the Quran, the safety of the vulnerable people, and then our own safety. So we need to announce La ilaha illallah correctly. We need to apply it correctly. And we need to be ready to gain our respect to ourselves, to show to Allah that we really love you. We're willing to spill our blood because of your religion. And we're going to be there when you want us. And we're going to defend the people whom you ask us to defend. And once we reach that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not make us a humiliated party, a humiliated group, or a humiliated nation. And we start gaining back our reward. We are after our reward, nothing else. We are trying to push the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from us. So my dear brothers, this is my advice to you. Some of you have seen many years. Some, alhamdulillah, they have responded and they've gone and they've done some training and at least they've done some of their obligations. Others have gone to the front lines and they know once they come from the front line, they know how easy it is. They know how rewardable it is. And when they come back here, they know how difficult it is. They enjoyed the front line. They know it's easy. They know it's beautiful. They know it's rewardable. They know it's the real life. They knew themselves there. They knew their capacity there. They knew how weak their enemy there. And they've seen the signs of Allah there. And they have seen awliya Allah salihin there. If awliya Allah salihin are not in the front line, believe me, where are you going to find them? Only in books. If they are not the people in the front line, where are you going to find them? This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين. Oh, you believer, fear Allah and be amongst the truthful. How you will be amongst the truthful? That don't stay behind when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are fighting all the time. This ayah was revealed just because of that. When 3 people stayed behind and they left one battle, then when they wanted to repent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, be truthful, be amongst the truthful. You want to repent, you say we love you Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and you leave him go to fight and spill his blood and you back home. Where is truthfulness in that? It's only a claim. It's a lie, a practical lie. Nobody with a bit of sense and a bit of sense of humor could accept that such a thing. Tell me I love you very much and you leave me in my difficulty. And it's an Islamic difficulty, it's not a personal difficulty. So if Rasulullah ﷺ is here, what he will be doing? Working in a cash and carry? Tell me what he will be doing. In a car boot sale? Issuing bank statements? Where he will be doing? Getting his sword and running after the people who have distorted their Islam. This will be the job of the Sahaba and the job of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. وعن ابن جابر رضي الله عنه قال أمرنا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أن نضرب بهذا وأشار إلى السيف من خرج عن هذا وأشار إلى المصحف. The authority of Jabir ibn Abdullah رضي الله عنه, he said Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم has ordered us to hit with this, and he pointed at the sword. Whoever goes out of that, and he pointed at the Quran. It is very simple. Don't tell me Muslims fighting each other. Don't tell me anything. Good Muslims fighting Muslims who are delaying the Sharia. This you can say yes, they are allowed to do this. Good Muslims fighting Kafirs who are humiliating their brothers, or Muslims who are imprisoned sisters and taking them as captives. Yes, because that is the understanding of the Sahaba. To hit with this, with the sword. Whoever go out of that, which is the Quran, regardless of his religion. You don't go out of the Quran and the Sunnah. You are not above the Quran and the Sunnah. If you want to rule us, rule us. But don't distort the message of our beloved Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Don't change the Sharia of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for the Sharia of John, Charlie and Rebecca and tell me you are a Muslim. I'm going to chop your neck, because this is not the Islam which you tell me, which Allah told us about. This is your Islam. We don't know this dirty Islam. We know the pure Islam, the real Islam, not the satanic Islam. The Islam which protects the Sharia, The Islam, which puts the word of Allah above every word. You bring me the word of whores and the drunk people and mentally ill, and you give me their laws which they fabricated at night, and you impose it in our course to rule with it, to judge with it. How can we judge? How can we judge between a man and a wife? And how can we distribute the wealth? And how can we do this? With the laws of kafir people, and you tell me Islam? No. No. Who will be the sword for them if it's not for these kind of people? So Jazakumullah khair, and you're enjoying a lot of bounties. Just get your zakat. At least get your zakat money. Then you get the reward for your zakat and also for jihad. And help fi sabilillah. Jazakumullah khair. Man jahhaza ghaziyan faqad ghaza. Whoever give the maintenance for a person who fight for the cause of Allah, then he as if he have done jihad as well. And something I have to remember, you are paying a lot of tax to kafir people to kill your own brothers, and you are paying nearly nothing to your brothers to defend themselves against your tax. Remember, جزاكم الله خير. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك.